right now at 7.
Day one of the new shutdown, the governor laying out a new weapon to stop a growing surge, but will everyone use it?
A lot of people are concerned about the privacy and the data.
All of this money would be due immediately, and it could be catastrophic.
Time is running out to keep eviction protections alive for thousands of Bay Area renters.
Had some gusty winds out there this morning, and because of the very dry fire fuels, the fire danger was high. But now the winds are calming down. We'll take a look at how that fire weather index is going to improve coming up in the forecast.
And for the second time in weeks, another Bay Area police officer has just been charged in a high-profile use of force case.
This isn't about sending a message. This is about enforcing the law equally.
Right now on the KPIX 5 News at 7 and streaming on CBS and Bay Area, 85% of Californians have been ordered to stay at home, including all residents in San Francisco, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, and Alameda counties. And Marin County will join them at noon tomorrow. Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida. Elizabeth has the night off. And tonight, almost 25,000 new coronavirus cases have been reported across California in just the past 24 hours. Now, you can see that's a big jump from the 7-day average. Tonight, the positivity rate is nearing 8.5%. Also tonight, at the Capitol, the governor is hoping a new app could help flatten the curve. KPIX 5's Juliette Goodrich is in Dublin tonight to show us how it works.
While the stay-at-home order is in effect for much of the Bay Area, there's also a new tool you can use. It's right on your smartphone. All you have to do is opt in. Governor Newsom today saying we're in the final stretch.
This is the third wave. We don't anticipate a fourth. Vaccines are on the way. Over 2.1 million doses of vaccine we anticipate to distribute by the end of this calendar month.
Until then, hunker in with new stay-at-home orders. While the San Francisco Bay Area was at 25.7% ICU capacity today, health directors from 5 Bay Area counties and the city of Berkeley have already preemptively put tough new restrictions on local residents and businesses. San Mateo County has not issued a shutdown order yet.
Know that those cases that occurred around people's potentially dinner tables or activities and plans, travel through Thanksgiving, are going to show up right about now. Maybe the last couple of days we're seeing that, but we know we'll be seeing that for many days to come.
Governor Newsom also unveiled another tool to fight the spread of the illness. It's the voluntary smartphone app that alerts people if they've spent time with someone who tests positive for the virus. He says this is not contact tracing, this is notification technology. So here's how it works. Go to settings on your phone, open it up, and it will lead you to exposure notifications. You open that up, follow the prompts, and you're in. A lot of people are concerned about the privacy and the data. Ahmad Banafa is cybersecurity expert at San Jose State University.
Is the catch about it. For the privacy, you have to understand that this information about you having the test is actually held by the, Public Health Department of California. So there is the HIPAA. Regulation that will protect you in this case.
The app uses Bluetooth technology, sending random codes from one phone to the other, but it doesn't reveal your identity or your location. In Alameda County, Juliette Goodrich, KPIX 5.
And the numbers coming out of Santa Clara County tonight, pretty alarming. Looking live at San Jose, 1,450 new cases in a single day. That's just today. A new record, and health officials say the intensive care units are stretched thin.
As of today, we have 50 empty ICU beds remaining in our county. That's 50 beds for a county of 2 million people to care not just for COVID, but to care for everyone who needs critical care in a hospital.
Meanwhile, in Marin County, we spotted plenty of shoppers out at this Costco in Novato today, grabbing last-minute things. The stay-at-home order begins there at noon tomorrow. In Alameda County, for personal services like hair and nails, this is the third shutdown they've gone through. Salon owners we spoke to today say closing down the beauty industry again is unfair.
Give us a chance. Let us prove to you that we can do this, that we are being safe, and that we do value our clients, and we don't want anyone to get sick.
We know how to keep our clients safe in this new era of pandemics.
Well, tonight there's a new plan to help tenants who are struggling to pay the rent during the pandemic. Currently, renters are protected from being evicted if they can pay up to 25% of their rent, but that's set to expire at the end of January. Today, a San Francisco Assembly member introduced a bill to extend the state moratorium on evictions until the beginning of 2022. Experts agree eventually there needs to be some kind of federal program to help out the landlords, the banks, and the tenants with that missed rent.
If everybody had to move, where would they go? What would happen? Nobody can fill up all these vacancies if everybody got evicted.
If we were to end the eviction moratorium, all of these tenants would be potentially subjected to evictions. All of this money would be due immediately, and it could be catastrophic.
Well, make sure you have the new KPIX 5 app to get breaking news alerts during the news shutdown. I checked the weather now. It's a pretty nice, clear night. A bit on the warm side, but earlier it was quite windy. These Christmas trees in Black Hawk couldn't handle some of the gusting winds, clocked at over 50 miles an hour. Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan is here. Paul, a lot of raking going to be done this weekend.
I heard my neighbors out there doing that earlier today while I was working in the garage, and I think that's going to be the case for much of the Bay Area. Those strong winds knocking down the leaves, but fortunately not leading to the start of any new fires. And now the winds have calmed down. The strongest gust on the map at the moment, 10 miles an hour in Fairfield. It's still an offshore wind. That's going to be with us tomorrow, but the winds are going to be significantly lighter. Still some higher gusts in the hills as we head through the rest of tonight. So our fire weather index still showed some elevated values in the North Bay Mountains and a few areas of concern in the East Bay Hills as well. As we head farther into tonight, those numbers start to drop. The shaded areas on the map begin to contract a bit as the spots with the greatest concern, the fire weather danger, begins to just slack off a bit as we get into the early hours tomorrow. And then throughout the day on Tuesday, we're talking about these numbers hovering around 1 or 2, which is a whole lot better than the conditions that we had early this morning. We'll take a look if there's any rain headed our way in the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Paul, we'll see you then. Thanks. In an unusual move, the grand jury has indicted a rookie San Francisco police officer in a high-profile use of force case from last year. Officer Christopher Flores was responding to a burglary report when he shot and wounded Jamaica Hampton. And police say that the gunfire came after Hampton attacked another police officer. A grand jury determined that there is probable cause that Flores committed a crime. The jury also indicted the suspect, Hampton.
This isn't about sending a message. This is about enforcing the law equally. I ran my campaign on a platform to enforce laws equally and to hold police who violate the laws accountable the same way we hold other people who violate laws accountable.
And Flores becomes the second San Francisco police officer in 2 weeks to be indicted in connection with a shooting. Well, today marks the 79th anniversary, 79 years ago, the attack on Pearl Harbor. And right now, the Mount Diablo beacon is lit up to commemorate the day and honor our World War II veterans. We spoke with veteran Mickey Ganich. The 101-year-old lives in San Leandro. He was assigned aboard the USS Pennsylvania, had a bird's eye view of the attack.
A 500-pound bomb missed me by about 45 feet, came on past me, went through 2 decks, exploded way below me. It shook me, but it didn't hurt me there. If it exploded on the contact, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Greatest generation remembers. Coming up next, late word tonight from President-elect Joe Biden, his historic pick for Secretary of Defense, and why another one of Mr. Biden's cabinet member nominees has Governor Newsom very optimistic.
It's a game changer for us in terms of the relationship with the federal government.
I'm Dennis Arnold. Coming up, the Warriors are without 2 key players as training camp begins.
Steve, this is awkward.
It is, isn't it?
And the Raiders' comeback causes a big shakeup in the Big Apple.
It didn't feel real to me. I didn't know what was going on, but I was sprinting full speed to Henry.
I think it's completely unfair.
It's not good when you are only making 20% of your year-to-date revenue.
And the Bay Area restaurant owners who say their only choice may be defiance. Plus, coming up, all new tonight at 11, KPIX was first to expose a series of hacks on unemployment debit cards issued by Bank of America. So how are the fraudsters able to drain those accounts? at ATMs far away from where the victims live.
This is just absolutely unacceptable that we have a bank that's not responding. They're not responding to you, not responding to me, not responding to the people who they are serving.
Need to watch our original report, EDD debit cards. Tough questions. That's tonight on the KPIX 5 News at 11, and we will be right back. Well, we learned a little bit earlier this afternoon which two Warriors players tested positive for coronavirus, and what's probably the worst kept secret at Warrior Land right now. KPIX 5 Sports Director Dennis O'Donnell is here now to talk more about that. Dennis?
Yeah, Ken, Draymond Green and the rookie James Wiseman, both absent from the Warriors' first practice today. Now, Steve Kerr couldn't really say why they were not at practice. He was hoping the media might connect the dots.
Steve, this is awkward.
It is, isn't it? I'm just trying to figure out which one of you has put all the pieces together and figured out what's happening here, and if there's anybody on the screen who hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, Green and Wiseman were the two players that tested positive for COVID-19 last week and have not yet been cleared to play basketball. NFL, the winless Jets fired defensive coordinator Greg Williams, who continued to call blitzes at the end of the game when all New York had to do was not give up the big play. Instead, there was no help in the secondary, leaving Henry Ruggs wide open for the game-winning touchdown. Even the Raiders were stunned.
I couldn't believe they all out blitzed us. But as soon as I saw it, man, I was thankful.
Once I look back, it's exactly what you said. Felt like the ball was in there forever, like it just couldn't come down.
It didn't feel real to me. I was just like, I didn't know what was going on, but I was sprinting full speed to Henry.
I just dumbfounded.
Jets are now 0-12, right? And the Raiders keep playoff hope alive. And this just in, Ken, Alex Smith and Washington football team dealt the Steelers their first loss of the season tonight. How do you like it?
A. Smith still doing it in every way that nobody thought was possible when he was out here. Dennis, thank you for that. Well, from sports to weather, Paul's back with some warmer conditions and some. It was well over 70 degrees in the East Bay today, bud.
Yeah, temperatures up into the mid-70s for highs, which is record-setting in a lot of locations. Set about 5 different record high temperatures across the Bay Area today. The change in the forecast tomorrow isn't really temperature related. We'll be a couple degrees cooler, but still way out of the ordinary for this time of year. It's just not going to be as breezy. We're already feeling that influence. Still somewhat windy in the hills as we head through the rest of tonight, but calmer winds in store tomorrow. We'll take a detailed look at that in just a second. Still breezy conditions, though, tomorrow for Southern California. The fire danger is still going to be sky high in the southern half of the state. They might start to get a little relief by the middle of the week, but they're not going to be out of the woods. None of us are going to be out of the woods until we can get some rain. Maybe some of that by the weekend. But we're going to remain dry and mild through the middle of the week and remaining dry through the end of the work week, even though temperatures will start dropping a little bit. Here are those wind speeds as we head through tonight and tomorrow. The gusts a whole lot lighter than they were this morning. We had some 50, 60, 70 mile an hour gusts in the hills with 30 to 50 mile an hour gusts in the lower elevations early this morning. The winds tomorrow are barely even going to be noticeable. Still going to be offshore, but a light offshore wind. So temperatures still above normal. But you're not going to get moved around on the road by any of those stronger gusts, and the fire danger is going to be a lot lower than it was last night into this morning. Temperatures now backing off a bit. Still 64 downtown San Francisco. That's the warm spot on the map. 61 San Jose, 62 in Oakland. Otherwise, mostly in the mid-50s, and we'll end up in the 40s in most spots by early tomorrow morning. The coolest spots will be in the low 40s. Warmest locations right around the bay near 50 degrees. But another big warm-up in store for us tomorrow. Thanks to those offshore winds, everybody's going to get a chance to warm up. You'll be up into the 60s area-wide by noon. Average high temperatures in the middle of the afternoon or in the mid to upper 50s. We're going to be substantially above that already by lunchtime with a mix of 60s and 70s for high temperatures tomorrow afternoon. A couple degrees cooler than today, but still 10 to 15 degrees warmer than what's normal for early December. Looking farther down the line, our rain chances as we head into the weekend aren't impressive, but they're not zero either. So we're telling you there's a chance. A 20 to 30% chance for San Francisco by Saturday night into Sunday. It's a slightly higher chance for the North Bay. Talking about a 30 to 40% chance for Santa Rosa. It's still lower than 50-50, but hopefully things will continue to evolve in a wetter direction as we look at the long-range data throughout the rest of this week. Farther south, San Jose, you're running at about 3% of what's normal for this year's rainfall, this water season's rainfall. I don't think there's a real good chance you're going to put much of a dent in that deficit this weekend, but we'll keep an eye on things. We're at least going to see more clouds over the weekend with temperatures above average, but closer to what's normal for this time of year. I'll have some more data to look at, and I'll update those rain chances at 11 o'clock. Ken?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Paul. And here's a look at your top headlines tonight. Just over 2 hours ago, the Associated Press reported that President-elect Joe Biden will pick retired General Lloyd Austin as his Secretary of Defense. If he's confirmed, Austin becomes the first black to lead the Defense Department. And Biden has tapped California Attorney General Javier Becerra to lead the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. About a month ago, Becerra led 21 states in defending the Affordable Care Act before the U.S. Supreme Court.
It's a game changer for us. The stale air of normalcy versus the fresh air of progress is how I would describe it in terms of a relationship with the federal government.
On Capitol Hill tonight, Congress back in session, focused on getting a deal on coronavirus relief before the holidays. Democratic leaders, President-elect Biden, have backed a bipartisan $908 billion proposal as the starting point. Coming up next, the first Bay Area vaccines are now just days away. New information tonight on how and when the first doses will be given out.
We certainly will not get enough vaccine for both of those large groups.
Plus, Bay Area restaurant owners at the breaking point. Will they turn to full-blown defiance just to survive? And who needs the state capitol? The Bay Area lawmaker just sworn in on her own front porch. Like a lot of businesses, they have had it tough, and some Bay Area restaurants are at a breaking point tonight. Many spent thousands of dollars to comply with the public health order. Jim Angelopoulos owns Yoked Restaurant in Morgan Hill, and he says that he spent $30,000 to build a patio and install plexiglass dividers, only to learn that outdoor dining is now banned.
I'm just throwing my hands up. I have no answers. I don't know why. Small businesses picked on like this.
There is no empirical evidence anywhere that I have read or that I've been shown that shows outdoor dining is a cause or a spreader of COVID-19.
Other restaurant owners say that the latest lockdown is a recipe for disaster. Many say they can't survive on takeout service alone. The Bay Area is preparing for the first expected shipment of COVID-19 vaccines. An FDA advisory panel meets on Thursday. The group is expected to recommend the emergency use of the 2-dose Pfizer vaccine, meaning that California could see the first shipments by next week. The state is expected to receive an initial 327,000 doses. Frontline healthcare workers and nursing homes will be the first priority.
This is the first allocation, and we expect subsequent allocations over the next several weeks.
When I see the FDA with their career scientists say that a vaccine is safe and effective, I will take it myself when my time comes, and I will recommend it to all people.
Now, the federal government has assured California to expect about 2 million doses before the new year. Coming up next, not your everyday swearing-in ceremony for a state lawmaker from the Bay Area.
Welcome to your second term in the California State Assembly.
Thank you, Senator Skinner.
You're welcome, buddy.
Good job, Billy.
Oakland Assemblywoman Buffy Wicks was sworn in on her front porch today. She's been working from home after one of her kids was possibly exposed to coronavirus. Wicks made headlines earlier this year, remember, when she brought her baby onto the assembly floor during a vote. Now, you do what we got to do during these COVID times. Thanks for watching at 7. News continues streaming on CBS Bay Area. We'll be back here at 11 o'clock. More news.